Mark begins with a question of choice. Whenever we deal with choice, we recall the Zen koan, Hyakujo's fox. The question of that story is an enlightened man subject to choice and preference? And they get around to something like making choices is the only way out of making choices. Bearing consequences is the only way out of consequences. So as Mark's gospel opens, we have Jesus cleansing a leper. The leper says, "If you choose, you can make me clean." So when Jesus says, "I do choose, be made clean," he's talking about a way of choosing that's done with full mindfulness of consequence, in full acceptance of the karmic debt that choosing and preferring creates. Then it says, Jesus stretched out his hand and touched him. 2 chapters later, Jesus heals a man with a withered hand on the Sabbath. He says to the man, "Stretch out your hand." The scripture says Jesus uses it as a teaching moment about healing and doing good on the Sabbath, but it also sets rules for the game. Jesus reaches out, so do we. And reaching out sometimes makes us condemnable, sometimes causes scandal, and often takes place in a climate of overwhelm and dissociation. There's something else, too, that I initially missed while struggling with all this. A lot of the demons sound downright pious. A man with an unclean spirit in chapter 1 says, "I know who you are, the Holy One of God." A few verses later, the text says Jesus would not permit the demons to speak because they knew him. That seems a pretty blatant announcement that we're in the business of troubleshooting the egotism running rampant beneath our piety. And our way of knowing may need a bit of adjustment to be wielded humbly instead of pridefully. So as we begin Mark, let's simply assume that there will be a bunch of stuff we don't notice because it's flying underneath the radar of our normal awareness. That, of course, is the playground of ego, attachment, and all of our many distractions. See, problems become so routine that we call them reality instead of a problem. So we'll keep our eyes on that as we progress. All right, peace be with you. Please live today in full acceptance of everything, even the bits that suck. I will do it too, and I hope we'll be able to report vastly increased serenity at the end of it. Have a good day.